Ken Trahan, sportNOLAtv. The College Bowl picture is clear. We now know where everyone's going, or not going, as it were, and that includes the LSU Fighting Tigers of permanent head coach Ed Orgeron. And this is an intriguing matchup, guys. The Tigers taking on one of the best offenses in the nation and perhaps the Heisman Trophy winner, as LSU takes on Louisville and Bobby Petrino's high-powered offense with a very, very good quarterback in Lamar Jackson. So you look at what Jackson's done. He's accounted for 51 touchdowns this year, and the yardage is off the charts. So you're talking about a great player, quite a challenge for a very fast LSU defense that Dave Aranda's coordinated and done a good job with. LSU's defense should be healthy going into this game, which is going to help. And I think they're motivated, too, because of the fact that they know Orgeron's their head coach on a permanent basis now, Brian.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this should be an entertaining game. I mean, like you said, the Heisman Trophy winner, they're going to spread out that LSU defense. Actually, it's going to give LSU fans an idea of maybe where Ed Orgeron wants to take this offense in the coming years. But it should be an entertaining game. It's a great matchup.
Rick?
That's a great matchup, and I like LSU because I think they're going to play a good defense. I think they'll control Jackson in this, but even like Pitt going to the Yankee Bowl, so I'm going to get a chance to go to New York on December the 12th.
Yankee Stadium, baby.
Kenny, I got a question for you
Quickly.
guys. All right, real quick. Does Leonard Fournette play in this game?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
His last game as an LSU Tiger. I think he plays. How much he plays remains to be seen, or how they use him remains to be seen. So we'll see, but I think he plays. All right, the Allstate Sugar Bowl. We're always intrigued by this, and I think there's a good matchup here as well because the Auburn Tigers are representing the SEC at 8-4. Good but not great team. But the other team, Oklahoma, they're playing as well as anybody in the country. They got hot at the wrong time to get into that playoff, but that's a dangerous team. Baker Mayfield's really thrown the ball well. This is a football team that can get it done. And then the combination of Petway and Johnson for Auburn has been very good. So all things considered, not a bad matchup, Brian.
No, I think it's a great matchup. I'll tell you what, having Mayfield says he's going to come back for his last year. So Bob Stoops always has a great entertaining team. So I think it should be a great matchup here in New Orleans.
And I think they'll get a good following, too. That's the whole key. I mean, Auburn really follow their team, and so I think that Oklahoma follow their team. So should have a good crowd.
I agree.
Well, I think that's important. I mean, clearly when you're not a game that has national relevance, it's all about the attractiveness of the teams. I guess the best point would be, Brian, if Florida would have been that team that came here rather than Auburn, then everybody would have been shrugging because they don't bring people.
Yeah, absolutely. And both these teams bring people. They'll travel. And again, Kenny, you hit the nail on the head, is that this is an economic boost to everybody involved, and it's a great matchup. Great matchup.
And I think Oklahoma is licking its chops right now. I think they feel pretty good about that matchup based on the way they're playing.
Yeah.
So we shall see. The R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl really kind of gets the bowl season going, and it will do so again on December 17th in a Mercedes-Benz Superdome. The records might not be all that impressive, but you talk about tourism, what a great matchup in terms of crowd. The UL Raging Cajuns and the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Great regional matchup. Southern Miss hasn't been in a while. They're going to be excited and bring a lot of people. Hattiesburg, less than 2 hours away. And, of course, the Raging Cajuns. This is the Raging Cajun Invitational, the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, right? 5 times in 6 years, Elijah McGuire has been real good. Smith outstanding for Southern Miss. So, again, from a tourism perspective, it's a good matchup, Brian.
They'll put in what? Well, Kenny, what do you think?
40,000? I think 40 plus.
Yeah, 40 plus. That's a boon. Look, anytime you can get this kind of game and get that kind of attendance, it's a win-win situation.
They might get Brett Favre to come out and play.
Ooh, Lord.
Well, he might show up. He could show up. Maybe Jake Delhomme comes. Who knows, man?
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
Brett Favre against Jake Delhomme.
Wow.
Line them up.
A
little skills test before the game.
Well, at the very least, they should be honorary captains.
I like that.
They let Ricky Jackson go do that.
You guys ought to be in charge of the committee here, the festive committee here.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Great matchup. Why not? Go for it. So these are some of the great bowl matchups. By the way, Louisiana Tech playing in the Armed Forces Bowl against Navy, and Tech's had a good year. Talented team. Carlos Henderson out of McDonough 35 is absolutely special. He's a blur, a really good football player. And also kudos to Grambling for winning the SWAC championship. They'll go on to play the MEAC champion now, the Celebration Bowl, which ought to be great. So a really good year for Grambling. And just briefly on that, Brian, this was a program at Grambling that almost disappeared as recently as 3 years ago. You talk about a job well done by Coach Fobbs?
Well, and I tell you what, it speaks so well of the state too. When Grambling football is at its zenith, that speaks well of Louisiana football.
And having watched them in the Bayou Classic, there are some Division I players on that football team that slipped through the cracks. They're good, and to come from behind to win last week. So congratulations to Grambling. And congratulations to state champions in high school football, crowned on the select side in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome this past weekend, as they were one-sided games, and it took a long time to play. But Southern Lab was victorious. Riverside Academy, Bill Stubbs, congratulations to the Rebels on winning their first LHSAA state football championship. St. Thomas More, and the first ever for a legendary coach, Jim Hightower, second winningest coach in Louisiana prep history behind J.T. Curtis, and Evangel back in the throne room. 13th state championship in a game that ended at 12:53 in the morning. They took apart Scotlandville for that title, which sets up our non-select championships this coming weekend. 5 of those, and we take a look at 2 of them on Friday. Logansport against the traditional power Haynesville. The seeds held up there. And then, of course, in Class 2A, Sterlington upset Manny in multiple overtimes, and they take on the team I picked to win it, Madison Prep. And then we flip the card to Saturday. What a great day for teams in our area. And you talk about awesome matchups. We'll have them all on WGSO Radio, by the way, 990 AM. Amite and Lutcher, the defending state champion Bulldogs, hosting the Warriors, who were denied a chance to play in it last year at noon. And then the 3:30 game, the rematch everyone's been waiting for all year. In my opinion, the 2 best teams in Louisiana in any classification, Carr and Neville, a battle of the Titans. And then in the 5A game, Landry Walker and West Monroe. West Monroe's back, but guys, I'm going to say it right now. I've been saying it all weekend. Not only is Keaton Thompson of Landry Walker the best quarterback in Louisiana, I don't think there's a better dual threat quarterback in America. He's the best I've ever seen at the high school level to do both things that he does, run and throw. He's 6'5". He runs a sub 4.5 40. He throws bullets. He's got a gigantic arm, and he's a really good kid. He is a special player. He's committed to Mississippi State. We'll see if that changes or not. They were on him early, and I'll tell you what, if you're not on this kid, you don't know what you're looking at. I don't say that very often, but I stake my reputation on it. Ricky, I would tell you to make sure you watch this game Saturday night. They're showing it on television live, which I think takes away from the game itself, but at the same time, you need to watch Keaton Thompson play.
I'm going to check him out, but I went to check Fournette out when he was in high school, and I thought he was one of the better running backs I ever seen in high school. So I'm kind of sleep on this kid, but I'm going to catch up on top of him.
He's phenomenal. And Edna Carr is a great football team, and Neville's a great football team. You talk about a great matchup. Wow.
Kenny, the quarterback at Carr, is that the kind of guy you think LSU should be looking at if they want to run this their spread offense?
The quarterback at Carr is Alden Clark.
I'm sorry.
You're talking about Landry Walker.
Yeah, Landry Walker.
Thompson.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Positively.
Are they on him? Are they on him?
That's a good question. They're aware of him.
Yeah.
And without giving away sources, they're on the case.
Yeah.
But the question is, did they get in too late? Because Mississippi State's had him committed for a long time.
Right.
And the kid's a good kid, and he's an honorable kid. And talking to him before the game and most recently on PRI, he likes his commitment. And I'd be surprised if he changed it, but it's never too late.
Right.
I'm sure Prescott done talked to him already.
Yeah, he's a similar player, by the way. And that's
Yeah.
a heck of a compliment. Back in a moment to talk about Premier Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, when we continue in a moment on Sports NOLA TV.